So heading along now, I'm going to start doing part 2, which is going to be creating the upper walls. So to do this, I'm just going to hide the lower walls for us, just while I'm doing this, because I don't want the lower walls to basically dictate what's going on above. Now, as with last time, I'm going to add a cube, and I'm going to use this as the basis of my walls. Now, I'm going to set the X to 0.15 because that's the width of the breeze block that I'll be using for the walls. And then just going to start off by planning out individual walls. So I'm going to have to kind of work out exactly how long any one particular set of walls is, and then kind of add the add inner walls later on. Let's just start off because I need to very quickly work out the entire length. So what I did last time was I kind of made one particular wall, my kind of first wall. I may change this later on, break it up, but I don't think I will have to on this one because it's just one long wall. I'm going to go tab, select the lower vertex. Like last time, if you can't select an individual vertex, then just click this one here. So this is line, edge, face, and then this is individual vertex, and I want this one. I'm going to go mesh, snap, cursor to selected, tab, and then object, set origin to 3D cursor, and then that will allow me, wrong one, to set my dimension, my starting point. Okay, now I've got this wall in place. I'm going to name this. Now you can see all my hidden walls are named ground, so this one is going to be named so get them a naming: rear wall first. So basically the rear wall of the first floor. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to copy it. I'm just going to pull it forward a bit. I'm going to rename that front. And then again I'm going to tab into edit mode, click on the front vertex, because what I want to do is I want to mesh, snap, cursor to selected, tab, object, set origin to 3D cursor, and then that just gives me a bit more control over this wall. Now what I need to do is I need to set this to 4.150, and then from there, oddly enough, I can actually replicate this wall a few times as well. So the good thing is every single wall that splits the bedrooms are the same length. So I'm going to need one of those and then one of those. I'm going to call this master front wall. I'm going to call this one middle front wall, just to kind of put them all together. I'm also, let's have a look, new collection it, just so that you can see here my lower floor is in one collection. Then I'm going to have first. It's just so I can distinguish them with collections, so it's easy to actually just select them all, so you know, just know where they are basically. Okay, so now I've got that done and I've got my main walls on this side and I know the exact length of each one of them. I'm going to then set their position. Now with this one, I want to just tab, I'm going to change the starting position to here. So mesh, snap, cursor selected, tab, object, set origin to 3D cursor. I just want to try and get it to where it needs to be. So the entire width of the master bedroom is 2.9 meters. However, if I were to actually set its X location to 2.9 meters, let's move these out the way a bit more. It's not quite accurate because it's taken its measurement from 0 and we've still got 0.15 of breeze block here. So actually what I need to do is add 0.15 to this. So what we would end up with is 3.15 and that would get us to there. Now with this one I need to basically pop it another 2.3 along from that one. So if this is currently at 3.15, I have to add again 0.15 for this. Basically, I'm just going to do this as, so that would be 3.3. And then you can see here, but because I've got the origin point to there, that's not going to work. So again, tab, mesh, snap. Oh, wrong one. Snap. Cursor to selected, tab, object, set origin to 3D cursor. Try that again, 3.3. That puts it in the right position. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it 2.3 further along because that's what my plan says. So that would be 5.6. There we go, that wall is now where it should be. Now, gosh, this is always a bit of fun trying to get all of these in exactly the right place, but I'll keep trying to get this right. I think what I need to do then is I need to get this exactly where it needs to be. So let me just 2.3 further along. So do you know what? I will actually change the snap point back to where it was before. So tab, mesh, snap, cursor selected, tab, object, set origin to 3D cursor. The reason I'm doing that is because if I add the 0.15 to that, so that would be 5.75. Then I can add the 2.3 to it. So that would be 8.05. There we go. That should now give us the perfect spacing of each of those. So that they should now be exactly where they need to be. I might change the origin point of that back later on, but for now it does what I need it to do. Okay, next thing to do, I'm going to place the wall for the walk-in closet. So I'm just going to copy that, pull it across here. Again, tab, click the corner back here, mesh, snap, cursor to selected, tab, set origin to 3D cursor. Now again, it's that kind of, first I need to set this to 0.15 just to get it there. I need to get it right at the end as well, so I need it to be at 8 meters, so it lines up with that. And then it's 1.65 further across, so 1.65. Do you know what? My brain is not good at fast maths, unfortunately. Right, so that should be. It would help if I did 1.8 instead of that. There we go, that looks about in the right place now. Everything should be lining up nicely. So can you see, if I look here, what we should get is we should get roughly a breeze block's thickness here. So I'll check if that's perfect later on, but it looks about right so far. Rename that. Ooh, caps lock's on. And we're starting to get the general layout sorted now. Another one of these needs creating. Just going to pull forward. Oh, got the wrong one there. I want that one. So pull that forward. This is now going to be where the stairwell joins up. So again, I start with this. I'll add 0.5 to it, which will give me 1.95, just to make sure that they're the right thickness. Okay, and then it's going to shoot across by 2 more meters, so that would be 3. Yeah, that looks roughly where I would expect it to land at the moment. No, actually, in fact, it feels like it's not far enough across that. Let me just double check my measurements. So I've got 1.8 and then 2. Feels like it doesn't feel quite how I would expect it to be, but okay, I'll go with that for now. Now this wall is 0.195. Pulling back to there, and then another wall. And there we go, bath front wall, bath rear wall. Again, I've got to get the positioning on this just right. It's always a pain, this part. So if I'm at 3.95, that would be 4.05. No, it wouldn't. It would be 4.1. And then add 1.65 to it. So that's my calculator there, definitely. So 4.1, add 1.65, that would be 5.75. In the end, just try and be as, accurate as possible as you go through these. And when I say accurate as possible, if you're following a building plan, you shouldn't really be able to get it wrong, to be quite honest. Okay, and then finally I'm going to have to put in the balcony door wall. Again, pull this forward. Balcony front. Okay, and then this is going to kind of move across. It's going to be 1.6 wide. I'm going to change its origin point, so I'm just going to tab. I'm going to press, I think if I get hold of, let me think here, just trying to think which is the best one to actually grab hold of at this point. So I'll go for, it's actually a tough one this. Actually, I'll leave the origin point for now because I'll have to work out exactly where this is a bit later on. I know it's roughly at a midpoint, and its endpoint starts here. So I suppose if I were to take this, which is 4.15, tab it, select this vertex here, mesh, snap, cursor, tab, object, set origin 3D cursor, good. And then if I set its origin point to kind of the length of this will put it in exactly the right position. Okay, now so 4.15, because then what I'm doing is I'm setting its origin point, and then when I put a wall in right the way along here, it should just kind of sit perfectly. I'm still not certain exactly where this goes. I'm trying to work out. It's not quite easy to tell where that wall starts on this and where it ends, so I'm just going to have to kind of leave that for a second where it is, and I will position that in a far better place later on. Okay, next thing we need to do then is I need to go and add a mesh cube, and this time this is going to be 0.15 for the width. Yeah, I'm just going to pop myself over here, tab, select the vertex, snap the cursor, tab, object, set origin to 3D cursor, set it to 0, 0, 0. Oh, I always do that by accident, I always click the wrong one. 0, 0, 0. Okay, and now I need to actually create the entire length of this wall. So I'm just going to do some quick calculations here. Let me see. So it's going to have, there's two sets of measurements on the diagram here. I'm making sure I pick the right ones. So 300, add 2, 900. Then I need to add 150, add 150, add 150, add 150 to incorporate the breeze blocks basically, and then we're going to run it to 8.1. So you can see, or you should be able to work out at this point that what it's doing is it's slightly longer than the downstairs. Now I seem to have, I feel like I've made a miscalculation here somewhere. I think I've gone 0.1 out somewhere. Let me just double check my measurements. So 3.15. Perhaps that's only 3.1. If that was, let me work this out. So 0.15 add 2.9 gives me 3.05. That's where I've gone wrong. So I've done 3. That should be there, which means that should be there, I'm guessing. Let me just double check my maths on that one. So 3.05 add 0.15 add 2.3, 5.5, yeah, that's where that one goes. Pull this back to 8, then let me just double check this. So again, add 0.15 to this. Finally add 2.3, 7.95, yeah. Simple. Sometimes you just make little mistakes like that, but I was close enough. I just put like basically 10 centimeters out, and just because I put a 10 centimeter miscalculation, my walls just kind of went all over the place. Okay. Name this cube. Now again, I imagine that I'm standing in the house looking at the front. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to call this middle wall, because what this is going to do is it's going to come across here. And again, I've just got to make sure that I've got all of this perfect. So let me just do some quick maths here. So the wall is 3.85. I've got to add 0.15 for the breeze block and 0.15 for the other breeze block, taking it to 4.12. Sorry, 4.15, what am I doing there? Okay, now that's right, because this wall, let me just double check the length of it. Can I get my maths right here? Now, it's 4.15 from there to there. This wall seems to be a bit further across than it should be. Oh, I know why. It's because its origin point is here, isn't it? So because that origin point is there, I need to reduce and move it to there. Now you can see that I've got a cut point into this, so this has obviously not been calculated right. Either I've pushed it too far across, or let me just check here, make sure I've got this wall the right length, 8 meters. Let me do a quick tally on that, because 3850960, add 1950, add 600. Yeah, so that is the right length as far as I can tell. So let's see if I've got my measurements right on this. So 3,850. Yeah, again, I've overestimated. I've over calculated that by adding an additional breeze block on the end. I've kind of added a breeze block to both ends when the measurements actually account for the breeze block on one side. It's simple things that you might not think it'll make a major difference, you know, but it knocks the whole thing out, unfortunately. And I think with these walls here, I've got kind of a similar issue where I've not accounted for the breeze block size. Let me check. Yeah, so I need to account for the breeze block. So I need to increase this by 0.15 to 2.10. It's always the thing when you're looking at architectural plans. Obviously, sometimes they'll show you the inner dimensions of a wall, and sometimes they'll show you the outer dimensions of a wall, and you know, it's very easy to get slightly lost along the way. You can see here where we're starting to get this wall is just about lining up correctly. Okay, one more copy of this wall. Move it across to here, just get it out of the way. 8.5, there we go. Okay. Now what I need to do is I need to get this so that it's stopping exactly there. So in all honesty, let me just do this in a slightly different way. 5.9. So if I've shrunk that down to 5.9, now I'll do the maths. Which goes, let me check here. So I've got a 1650, a 2000, a 1650. That's 5.3. Then if I add onto that 1, 2, 3, 4 breeze blocks, it's 600. That gives me 5,900. Perfect. See, sometimes just doing that and getting it to line up, it's amazing how it shows that you've got it right. Now it's not the middle wall, it's the left. Now, last one that I need to do. Move this to here. Now this is a bit of a pain, this one, because I need a wall that fits inside here. So I need walk-in right wall, and then this only needs to be 1.65. That should tuck nicely in there when I move it along 0.15. There we go, perfect. Kind of got this walk-in closet. See, the thing is as well, I'm going to have to change this as well, but it's a very difficult one in a sense that there isn't a door here, but there is an opening, so I need to kind of keep that wall there, and I'll cut it out later on, because there's like a kind of bit of plaster there. You walk through, you've got the built-in cabinet. So there's no door, but I'm going to keep the wall there. Now, moving across, I'm going to create a copy of this one actually. Pull it in this direction. 1.95, I'm going to position it so it bumps up to that wall, and then, oh actually no, I need it further across because that's the stairwell. I need it kind of hitting here, don't I? Let me just check this one's correctly. It's here. So it's 3.9. I've not done that right. Again, 3.85 plus 1.5 is 4, isn't it? Ooh. 1.9. Yes. Which is always a slight problem when you're trying to get your Y positionings perfect. So this goes I've not got that positioning right, that's why. That goes at 5.9, as does this one. There we go. There we go, getting the balance right now. I've just got to get things exactly where they should go. Now what's going to happen is, again, the X of this is going to stretch outwards now. Now its exact length is not clearly given, and I'm just trying to see if I can get a good approximation based upon any other measurements, but I think this is where we start hitting a slight snag with the plans, that they don't clearly give the length of this wall. But what they do is they give the size of the balcony. So if we can imagine that there's 2.2 meters here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a copy of this just for a second. I'm going to move this out. to here. Now, if this is 2.2 meters from this point, just trying to make sure that if I look down here, they're on the right, they're on the same line. Yeah, they are. Good. Easily flicker through some of my views here just to make sure that it all looks online with each other. It does. That's great. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that line met up with that one there. Now, it appears, to my mind, to be halfway along this. So, if I were to approximate at point 6.7, no, that's too far, isn't it? Yeah. Sometimes we can just do some basic maths. So if this looks like it's about half the width of the balcony, so that would make it 1.1 meters from this point onwards. This would be make sure that I write things down, otherwise I forget what they are. Okay, I'm just going to shrink the height of this down as well, just so I'm not confusing what it is. And then I think if I do this at, so it's 1.65. There we go. Trying to get my positionings perfect. Now, if I create a copy of this, pull it forward, and make it 1.1, position it at 5.9. There we go. You can see I'm getting the positioning a lot better now. Now, as I said, there's no clear indication of how wide this is on the plan, but I can have a look at the balcony door in a second and get its measurements, because it'll fit perfectly. The balcony door, if with all going to plan, that balcony door will fit in there perfectly. But let me see if I can just double. Right, so this is balcony left. Well, this is where I'm going to start getting confused, because it's technically balcony's right wall, because it's the inner wall. Okay. Now I'm just going to do a quick check, make sure that I've put all the partitions in, and you can see this is where the stairs come up, this big wide area here. Okay, now I'm just going to quickly check the door sizes. I'm not going to make the door, I just want to check the sizing. So according to this, the balcony door is 1.65 wide. Now, if we look, if I just move this to sort of like the middle point, if I then pull it up to 1.8, yeah, it's slightly 1.75 maybe. Now that makes sense, because obviously it's it's going to fit in, but it's not going to be so perfectly crammed in, is it, that it's not going to have a bit of space around it, which makes sense. So there's our kind of 1.75. It gives us 5 centimetres either side just to balance it out. Okay, one last thing to do just for now, just to create some completeness. Create a balcony wall there, just so I can see where the balcony wall is going to go later on. And I think that is it. That looks to me like the upstairs main structure is now completed. So as I said, it's got all the key walls in, and what I'll just do is I'm just going to highlight this all now, see what I'm doing actually. What I want to do is move all this upwards together just a bit. Then I'm going to show all of that. And there we go. You can see that I've got both floors together now. Now, one of the slight problems is that obviously there is a bit of an overhang on this house, so it's not going to be like perfectly square over the top of each other. But let me just try and, there's going to be some overhang in certain places. I've just got to get the right places to overhang. Yeah, you can probably tell about here that you'd expect this, although it's online next to each other, you want this top part to kind of slide backwards. I'll work that out later on when I'm actually doing a bit more, but it's going to end up coming backwards. I don't want to do that yet, just purely because that'll add too many complications when I'm doing features of this part. So for now, I'll just keep it like that. And you can see though that now we've got the top and the bottom all perfectly laid out, exactly how we want it to be. So what's our next stage? Well, before I finish up this video, I'm going to make everything the correct height. Hopefully I'm not going to have to do this individually, but I suspect I might need to do. So let me find the heights of everything. Now, let me just double check. This is where I'm going to have to kind of start doing a lot of calculating here. So it looks like the height of the first floor is 3.2 meters. Yeah, as I suspected, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm probably showing a lack of skill here in that I can't move all of these simultaneously. Just going to hide that while I sort this out. So you can see that we've actually got quite a lot of height in the excuse me, in this, but part of that is actually, you know, solid suspended floors and, you know, a few other things. So it's not as tall as you're gonna think it is. You've just got to kind of imagine that there's other parts to this. I'm just gonna hide the ground floor, show the top floor, and again just kind of get my height's correct. So how high is this? Well, let me do a quick calculation here. So from where the ground floor finishes at 3.2, what we have is a kind of little buffer zone So that is where the second floor pretty much starts overhanging. So we've got basically, if I start with the top height 7.6 and negate 3.2 from it, that gives us an upper floor of 4.4. Again, that might seem very tall, but it's also going to incorporate a significant amount of roof spacing. You know, where the roofing is and everything like that, where you've got like empty spaces for cabling and wiring. So it's amazing how much extra space. Do that 1 metre, shall I? That's just the balcony. Helps if I move the right value. So yeah, I didn't want to do this full height to begin with. I know it's a bit of a process now, it's just dealing with such tall walls is not easy. Okay, there we go. I've now got all of the walls to the correct height. And then we've got that. Now I said there's a bit of an offset where this needs to be moved, but I'm not going to do that until I've finished everything. Otherwise I'm going to have to take into account the offset when I'm doing everything, and it's just going to be easier if I put everything where it should be and then move it around. So there we go. That is now kind of the second floor and building up all the height. As I said, it's quite an interesting build this, and it's starting to come along and it's starting to look like the real deal now. It's got the very basic shape that it should have. Thank you for watching this second part of me building my, you know, the Irene model house on Arayat View Residences. Please like and subscribe, and you know, thanks for watching.